Good evening. We have not come together to add one more opinion to a planet already groaning under the weight of its opinions. We have not come to polish anxieties with religious language or to vote for hope as if hope were a politician. Look out at the world. Alarms in the markets, alarms in the streets, alarms in the body, families bargaining with tomorrow, nations bargaining with weapons, hearts bargaining with God. And yet, with all that noise, has the thunder ever healed a single fear? No. We are here for evidence, present evidence, demonstration, not delay. Do you see that? You and I both know the delay mind. It whispers, tomorrow I shall be free. Next month I will find the answer. After this seminar, after this raise, after this treatment, after this election. The delay mind is devout. It kneels before the calendar as if the calendar were a savior. But truth has no appointment book. God is our refuge and strength, a very present help in trouble, a very present help, not promised, not postponed, present. The Lord is, God is, I am. Do you feel the cut of that? Do you see that? We gather then to exchange delay for demonstration, truth verified now, not later, not when conditions improve, not when others agree with us. Truth insists upon its own tense. There is no future tense in truth. I will say it to you as plainly as I know how. If you are placing salvation, healing, peace, supply, or wisdom 1 inch ahead of you in time, you are worshiping a graven image of your own mind. I am that I am, says the voice in Exodus. Not I will be when you behave, not I will be after you finish your prayers. I am. And when the Master says, lo, I am with you always, he does not mean I will catch up with you when you get spiritual. He means what he says, always. Now, here, do you see that? What then is our aim this hour? Not to persuade, but to practice. Not to adopt opinions, but to sit quietly until the click, until presence announces itself as your very consciousness. And demonstration follows as a shadow follows a body. Time means nothing in this. 5 minutes or 50, what difference if the eternal is the substance? But let us be practical and tender with ourselves. Treat these minutes as the only minutes on earth. Do you see that? Set aside the projects, the punishments, the performs. We are not here to repair a world or a body. We are here to witness God as the only presence and power, God appearing as your very being. We will sit until the click. We will not force the click. We will not chase it. We will sit, and the click, when it appears, will do the works. God is, the Lord is, I am. Now, someone says, yes, but the headlines are real, the bills are real, the diagnosis is real. Oh, I know. I have read those papers too. I have looked at those bills. I have sat with those diagnoses, and I have also watched them dissolve in the light of a single realized now, not by argument, not by fixing matter, not by a better mood, by recognition. We do not come to persuade God to be God. God is. We come to consent to what already is, and then watch as the false pictures, the tomorrow pictures, lose their authority. Be still and know that I am God. Not be noisy and try to become spiritual. Be still, know, is. Do you see that? Scripture is filled with this grammar. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Present shepherd, present sufficiency. Now are we the sons of God, writes John, not later. Now, even the words we have heard all our lives have been asking us to wake to their tense. The Christ never speaks in maybe. The Christ speaks in is, I am the bread of life, not I will become bread when you finally deserve it. I am the light of the world, not I may be a flashlight if you jiggle the batteries. Forgive me, I smile because we have all jiggled the batteries. We have all tried to get a little more light by shaking what cannot be shaken. But hear this, the light is present, the bread is present, the shepherd is present, the I am is present as the very consciousness hearing these words. Do you see that? Let me tell you what we will not do. We will not try to use truth as a tool to alter appearances. We will not treat God as a subcontractor for our plans. We will not measure the infinite by a watch. We will not scold ourselves for not having it yet. There is no yet. That is the beautiful insult of truth to the human mind. No yet. Only is. Only am. If you feel the mind reaching forward, perhaps by the end of the hour, perhaps by the time I get home, catch that reach like a kindly friend catching the sleeve of a beloved about to step off the curb. Come back here, now, God is, the Lord is. Is. I am. And what will we do? We will give ourselves to a simple willingness to sit, to listen, to let go of tomorrow's language. Treat these minutes as the only minutes on earth. Open the hands of thought and drop the toys of delay. We will allow a silence more articulate than our best argument. In that silence, the click may come as warmth, as a loosening, as a smile that has no mouth, as a stillness that has no border. Or it may come as nothing at all that you can report. And yet when you rise, a fear will not rise with you. Never give up. Never give up. If tonight the click is a whisper, sit tomorrow. If tomorrow it is a whisper, sit on time. Means nothing. Demonstration is certainty, not schedule. Do you see that? I know some of you have traveled far to reach this room. Some of you have traveled farther to reach this moment. Lay down the suitcase of striving at your feet. You will not need it where we are going, because we are not going anywhere. That is our saving paradox. We are not voyagers to God. We are witnesses of God. God is. And in that is, fear cannot find you because it cannot find a future to threaten. Delay cannot hire you because you have resigned from tomorrow. Evidence appears here because here is where God is. The Lord is my shepherd. The Lord is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? The I that speaks these words is the I am speaking as you, not a human self flattering itself with Scripture, but God, recognizing God. Deep calls unto deep. Do you see that? So we begin by ending. We end the contract with delay. We end the romance with opinions. We end the habit of explaining and excusing. We begin with is. Let the mind hear it the way a child hears a lullaby until its rest becomes irresistible. God is, the Lord is, I am. Let it circle. Let it deepen. Let it be the only fact that remains when the stories fall away. If you will allow it, even for these few minutes, you will feel the old scaffolding loosen, and with it a tenderness will arrive that does not need reasons, evidence, present evidence. Not your doing, but your witnessing. Treat these minutes as the only minutes on earth. Sit with me. We will wait not for time to pass, but for the click to reveal that nothing was ever missing. Do you see that? Now let us hear the Master himself cut through the fog of centuries. He says, Verily, verily, I say unto you, before Abraham was, I am. Do you hear it? Not I was, not I will be, I am. And what happened when he spoke that? They took up stones. Why? Not because he healed on a wrong day, not because he ate with the wrong crowd, but because he dared the grammar of eternity. He broke the human calendar with a verb. He stood in the synagogue of time and quietly erased its chalkboard. Do you see that? We read it hastily and move on, but the offense remains. Before Abraham was, I am. The human ear wants lineage. It wants a beginning, a story, a yesterday to prove a tomorrow. The Christ voice gives none. The Christ never applies for membership in time. The Christ speaks only from now. The I am that speaks, there is not a man bragging. It is God naming himself in the midst of appearance. When the Master speaks, it is the I am announcing its own presence as the consciousness we call Jesus. That is why the present tense is not style, it is substance. Do you see that? Consider the situation. Abraham, father of the nation, father of faith, the banner of a people. And this man says, within earshot of tradition and law and pride, before Abraham was, I am. He does not negotiate. He does not soften it. He does not say, I was around back then. He says, I am, the timeless, addressing the time-bound, the eternal, speaking through a pair of Galilean lips to break the hypnosis of sequence, birth, age, decay. And they say, blasphemy, because to a mind married to time, the only fidelity is to a schedule. But to the mind loosed into spirit, the only fidelity is I am. You see that? Where have we heard that name before? On a mountain in Midian, a bush on fire that would not burn out, a shepherd who turned aside to see why. And Moses said unto God, behold, when I come unto the children of Israel, what shall I say unto them? And the answer is not a title to borrow or a plan to sell. The answer is a self that is its own witness. I am that I am. Say unto the children of Israel, I am hath sent me unto you. There it is again, the grammar of God. Not I was that I was. Not I shall be that I shall be. I am that I am. Present, self-existent, self-evident. No predicate required. No adjective needed. No schedule kept. When Jesus says, before Abraham was, I am, he is not trespassing upon Moses. He is speaking with the same voice that spoke to Moses. One name, one is, one I. Do you see that? You will forgive me if I adjust the punctuation in your mind for a moment. The Master also says, I and my Father are one. Permit me to offend the grammarians among us only for holy mischief. I and the Father is one. Now, that would have gotten a red mark on your school paper, and the teacher would have sighed, perhaps called your mother, but you see, are implies two politely agreeing at a table. Is reveals one being appearing without division. Oneness is not a treaty between two powers. Oneness is oneness, not two and then agreement, not God and man side by side, nodding and compromising. Is, as, and is. Do you see that? The whole secret moves on those two little sounds. As God, appearing as, is the only tense God knows. So I ask you the only honest question that remains. If the name I am is eternal now, why are you waiting for tomorrow? If the voice that sent Moses is the voice that moved through Jesus, and that voice speaks only as I am, upon what authority do you set your good 1 inch ahead of you? Who licensed you to postpone God? There is no future tense in truth. I cannot say it too often, because the mind keeps nibbling at later as if later were bread. But the bread of life does not come fresh in the morning, it comes fresh as now. I am the bread of life. I am the light of the world. Not I will brighten up when you have coffee. Forgive me, I know what coffee can do, but light does not need caffeine. Light is. Do you see that? You see how practical this is? If I am is present, then your prayer cannot be a wish list thrown across a room to a future. Your prayer must be recognition now. Your affirmation must lose its verbs of becoming no more I will be free. I shall have supply. Health is coming. If the Christ speaks only from now, then so must you speak in silence or in words only from now. Now am I about my Father's business. Not after lunch, not once the children are out of the house, not when the market turns, not when the diagnosis is revised. Now, The Father's business is not seasonal. The Father is not closed for remodeling. The shop sign is not back in 5 minutes. I am. Do you see that? Someone says, but my past is heavy. Abraham is behind me, and my ancestors with their mistakes, my own records and regrets, they press on me. Hear the answer in the same grammar. Before Abraham, before your birth certificate, before your first fear, I am. Before the story learned to spell your name, I am. The past parades with costumes. The present strips the stage. When you stand as I am, not as an ego-grabbing God, but as God recognized as the only I, then the parade loses its drums. The ghosts forget their lines. That is why the Master dares the synagogue, dares the calendar, dares the stones. Not to win an argument, but to give you back your name. And here the mind asks, isn't that presumption to say I am? No. Presumption is to say I will be. Presumption is to appoint yourself time's apprentice, inching toward God. Humility is to consent to what is already true. Let this mind be in you, which was also in Christ Jesus. Let it. Don't manufacture it. Don't rehearse it. Let it. And what mind is that? The mind that refuses to, that refuses later, that refuses titles, and takes a name, the name above all names, because it is no name at all, but being itself. I am. Do you see that? You can test this in the quiet. Let the mind bring up a need, any need, and then answer not with a plan, but with a name. I am. Sit until the name stops being a sound and becomes an absence of need. Sit until time loses the rumor of authority. Sit until the sentence, before Abraham was, I am, is not history, not doctrine, but your own breath speaking itself. The click will come not because you hammered it into place, but because you ceased hammering at all. And when it comes, you will laugh at your grammar lessons, and perhaps write to your English teacher to apologize and to thank them for such good training that you can now break the rule to honor the rule. I and the Father is one, so let us seal this portion as we began by listening. Hear it again, not as a verse to admire, but as your own center revealing itself. Before Abraham was, I am. Hear its twin from the bush that burns and is never consumed. I am that I am. Let these be your two witnesses. As and is and I am, God is, I am. There is no future tense in truth. Do you see that? Now let us take the psalm we have known since childhood and hear it as the grammar of eternity, the sound of is, not the hope of will. We will not petition it. We will not sing it to some day. We will let it speak as it was given, as present fact. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. The Lord is, not will be, not might become when I improve, is. You see that? The sentence brings its own pasture with it. It is not a wish, it is a witness. When you say it not as a human begging a distant deity, but as the I that is God recognizing itself, you feel a soft giving way inside, even now. Let the line be a breath. The Lord is, I shall not want. Now, do you feel the robe of tomorrow slip from your shoulders? That is evidence. That is the beginning of the click. Not because words are magic, but because the tense is true. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He leadeth me beside the still waters. He leads present action. Who is this he? Not a monarch on a throne over there. The very presence that is your life, the Christ of your own awareness. God as your I. He makes you lie down. That is, the restless will loses its job. He leads. That is, you do not invent the path. Do you see that? Practice this as the line it is. He makes me lie down now. He leads me now. Let the mind protest, but I must get up and do and answer gently as and is. Not you and God, God appearing as you, not you striving to be led. The presence, present, leading as your very sense of right order here, now. Sit with it. 10 seconds is enough to show you that still waters need no calendar. He restoreth my soul. He leadeth me in the paths of righteousness for his name's sake. Restoreth there. In that little th, you hear the continuity of his. He restoreth now. Not a repair shop, not patch and paint. Restoreth, as in original, revealed, remembered. When restoration is experienced, you have not seen a broken thing made whole. You have witnessed what never broke, appearing as it always was. You haven't watched a patient improve. You have recognized the new creature, Christ. Do you see? This is why it says, for his name's sake. Name means nature. The nature of God is wholeness, and the path that appears is righteous, because the nature that appears is himself as you. Say it as a mantra with the breath. He restoreth my soul now. He leadeth me now. If a tear comes, let it. That is not emotion for its own sake. That is a little layer of hurry melting. Yea, though I walk through the valley of the shadow of death, I will fear no evil. Even the word shadow gives you the clue. A shadow has no substance. It borrows its outline from a thought image and vanishes in light. Though I walk present through present movement, shadow no law, only appearance. I will fear no evil is not a vow to be brave tomorrow. It is a present refusal to give substance to illusion. Why? For thou art with me, thy rod and thy staff, they comfort me. Thou art, do you see? Not thou wilt be, art. The rod and the staff are not sticks in space. They are the felt certainty of one presence, one power, one law. Comforts now. Say it and sit. Thou art with me now, thy rod and thy staff, now they comfort me. If a thought says, but the diagnosis, but the letter, but the news, do not argue, do not fix. Recognize the Lord is, God is, I am. Thou preparest a table before me in the presence of mine enemies. Preparest again a holy present, where? In the presence of what look like enemies. Bills, symptoms, critics, memories. Notice the psalm does not say, after the enemies are gone. The table is spread while the show of opposition still mutters. That is your sign. This is not human arranging. Divine provision does not need a cleared room. It is the room. Do you see that? Practice it as you breathe. Thou preparest now, a table now, before me now, in the presence now. Then thou anointest my head with oil, my cup runneth over. Anointest present consecration, runneth present overflow. There is no measuring, no budgeting of spirit. The cup does not runneth later. It runs over now because the nature of infinity cannot be contained by the thimble of personal fear. Let yourself smile. It will not offend heaven. I know some of you have tried to hire shepherds named savings account and popular opinion. Bless them, they tried. But watch the oil and the overflow when you let the Lord be Lord here. Surely goodness and mercy shall follow me all the days of my life, and I will dwell in the house of the Lord forever. Now you say, there is a shall and a will. Yes, and hear them baptized in now. There is no future tense in truth. When consciousness realizes God is, the momentum of goodness and mercy is the only climate that appears. Translate the grammar for practice. Goodness and mercy are the atmosphere of this moment. I dwell now in the house of the Lord, which is awareness of presence. Forever is not a prison of endless time. It is the absence of time, eternal now. Do you see? Say it very simply and let the cadence do the work. I dwell now, the house of the Lord now, surely now. This is how Scripture becomes power. It is heard as fact, not forecast. We shift from petition to recognition. Not, Lord, please be my shepherd. The Lord is my shepherd. Not, please lead me. He leads. Not, one day I shall be fear-free. Thou art with me. Practice with me right here, as if this were the only minute on earth, because for truth it is. Whisper within, the Lord is, I shall not want now. He makes me lie down now. He leads me now. He restoreth now. Thou art with me now. Thou preparest now. My cup runneth over now. I dwell now. After each line, do not reach for a feeling. Let the line rest like a seed. 10 seconds. Notice if a tiny easing comes to sit on your shoulder. That is the click beginning to announce itself. Sometimes there's nothing at all you can parade, and yet the air in the room has a different honesty. Do you see that? A woman once sat where you sit, her thoughts noisy with tomorrows. When she came to Thou art with me, her lips stopped moving. She said later, I did not get a promise. I got a presence. The next morning, the fear that had hired her for years forgot to send a carriage. Do not make a story of it. Make a practice of it. Sit in meditation until you feel that presence. Time means nothing. 5 minutes, 5 days, 5 years. What is that to I am that I am? Never give up. Never give up. If tonight the psalm is a whisper, sit tomorrow. If tomorrow it is a whisper, sit on. The rod and the staff will do their own convincing. Let the cadence condition your perception, not by effort, but by recognition. God is, the Lord is, I am. The mind will try to edit. Let it rest. Let the verbs be the shepherds they are. He makes, he leads, he restores, he prepares, he anoints, he comforts, he overflows, and you witness, you dwell. Now am I the Son of God. Now am I about my Father's business. Not you and God, God is you, speaking psalm into practice. Do you see that? Then keep the line close on your breath as you rise. The Lord is, I shall not want now. And watch with quiet expectancy as present isness replaces anxious striving, and the shadow falls away where it always falls into the light that is already here. Now we must take the other key. If is was the first, as is the second. You cannot keep them apart without losing the music. I and my Father are one. Hear it again with the mischief that serves holiness. I and the Father is one. Not two agreeing. Not a partnership arranged by prayer. One. And how should we feel this? Not as a sentence we admire, but as the very shape of our being. Let us go outside for a moment, not literally, but with the inner eye, look at the sun. Look at the sunbeam spilling across your floor. Which is which? Is there a beam without the sun? Can the beam send a telegram to headquarters and ask for more light? Do you see that? The beam never begs the sun. It is the sun's outpouring. The beam does not travel to fetch radiance. It is the radiance expressing. If the beam tried to improve itself, shine harder, compete with the next beam, well, we would smile at its effort because its being is not achieved. It is given. It is being streamed. Now turn that seeing gently toward yourself. You have treated yourself as a small beam trying to remain connected to a reluctant sun. You have sent prayers as telegrams, as if light must be persuaded to be light. That is the exhaustion of and. God and me, God and my life, God and my problem. As long as you keep the and, you must live as a beggar. But if you drop the and, if you consent to as, the whole game ends. God appearing as individual identity, God as your very I. I am is not out there. I am is the beam's name because it is the sun's nature. Do you see that? Scripture already sings it, but we have made it a duet where it is a single voice. The Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. Not somewhere above doing tricks on request, but dwelling as being the very activity of being that you call me. In him we live and move and have our being. And the Master answers from the same oneness, ye are the light of the world. Not you might be if you study enough. Light is because God is. And the only way God can be light to this world is as the beam you are. If you hear that as flattery, you have not yet heard it. This is not the ego crowned with a halo. This is substance recognizing its own form. This is glass appearing as tumbler. Take that homely thing from your cupboard. Glass. If you hold a pane in your hand, you say glass. If you hold a tumbler, you say glass. Do you now have two substances? Have you changed the essence by the shape? The tumbler does not have a covenant with the glass to remember its source on Thursdays. The tumbler is glass, appearing as a form fit for a table. God appearing as Jesus. God appearing as Joel. God appearing as Mary. God appearing as you. Do not wince. Do not protest. Do not puff up. Be still. Let the substance tell you its name. I am that I am. And the form answers not with pride, but with transparency. Not I, but the Christ liveth in me. Or let us say it in our language tonight. Not I as a separate creature, but I as God's appearing, as not and. Do you see what this does to prayer? It ends the long-distance call. It ends the attempt to reach. Reach where? From what to what? If sun and beam are one, reaching is a joke, you tell yourself when you are frightened. If glass and tumbler are one, begging is an insult to the very substance that is your life. The Lord is my shepherd. That is as not two figures walking a road with a leash between them. One life appearing as guidance, as care, as sufficiency right where you are. The shepherd does not send assistance from across a field. The shepherd is your very life attending to itself as safety and direction. Do you see that? When oneness is felt, you cannot ask for supply the old way, or health the old way, or peace the old way, because the one you imagined needing help has quietly been set aside, and you witness God as the only I here. Someone says, but I feel so human, so mixed, so, well, I know my temper, my history, my mailbox. Yes, I know the mailbox too. But the mixture is an image in thought, a story we have rehearsed, not the substance. The beam shining through a dusty window may appear dim, but what is the dimness? Is it in the sun or in the window? We do not polish the sun. We wipe the pane. We do not fix spirit. We let the illusion go. Already you can hear how this prepares us for what we call healing. We are not preheating the oven for a better tomorrow. We are washing the window of and to let the as blaze forth. Never be ashamed to begin where you are, but never agree to stay where you are. Sit until the click assures you, not with fireworks, but with a relief so honest you almost miss it, that what you are is God's outpouring, not a separated struggler seeking a son. Let us play with the grammar for a moment, because grammar is honest when spirit touches it. If you say God and man, you have insured too and spent your energy on negotiations. You will invent duties and deserts and delays to manage the two. But if you say God as man, the negotiations dissolve. Duties become devotion. Deserts become grace. And delays have no job. I am the vine, ye are the branches. That sounds like and at first. But listen deeper. The branch is not an additional life. It is the vine's life showing itself. If you cut it off in thought, and you will wither in imagination. If you rest in as sap flows, fruit appears as, of course. Won't that be nice? Or I can go to the movies every night. No, you will not become lazy. You will become simple. The labor changes from pleading to perceiving, from forcing to consenting. Do you see that? Bring it right here. God is appearing as you, not as a boast, as a fact, as the only way God can be this word, this breath, this listening in this room. This eradicates the need to reach, beg, or wait. If you were to beg, whom would you beg? Yourself? If you were to wait, for whom would you wait? Your own being to arrive? Listen to the psalmist with this ear. In thy light shall we see light. The light in which you see is the light you are, and it is God. The click that comes is not God finally deciding to visit. It is the beam stopping its self-conscious wriggle and letting itself be what it cannot help but be. So test it very quietly. Do not say, God and my fear. Say, God is this awareness, therefore fear has no address. Do not say, God and my body. Say, God as the life that this body only images. Therefore no life can be threatened. Do not say, God and my lack. Say, God as the very I that appears as sufficiency. Therefore there is nothing to add. If that feels too large, sit with a single phrase until it drops through the floor of thought. As and is. God as. God is, I am. Then let the world do what it does. Let the mailbox clatter. Let the news complain. You will find that you are anchored in a simplicity that does not argue because it no longer has two to compare. And when someone asks you, how do you know? You may not have a sentence ready. You may only smile and point to the beam on the floor. Or you may say with the Master, it is the Father that dwelleth in me. He doeth the works. Or you may give the shortest answer of all, which served Moses and serves you now. I am hath sent me. Not sent me to do, but sent me to be God appearing as the individual who no longer postpones reality. Do you see that? When this is clear, the next step is easy. We will not fix matter. We will let illusion dissolve in this oneness until harmony appears as naturally as light in an open room. But for now, breathe once and hear the secret settle. Not and as, not later, is. God is you. God is. I am. Now let us speak very plainly about what the world calls healing. If you think we have gathered to repair matter, to coax bones and budgets into better behavior, you have smuggled the old craft into the new temple. Judge not according to the appearance, but judge righteous judgment, says the Master. Righteous judgment is recognition of what is spiritually true already. It is not argument with the senses. It is not tug of war with pictures. It is the steady beholding of God as the only substance, the only law, the only presence appearing as this very scene. Do you see that? Harmony does not begin when conditions change. Harmony appears as illusion yields. Nothing real needs fixing. I must put the finger where the ache is. The illusion is never out there. There is no such thing as an externalized illusion. The illusion is within us, within thought, within the lens through which we look. You have seen streetcar tracks that seem to meet on the horizon, have you not? You have watched a stick appear bent in water, and when you lifted it, nothing was wrong with the stick. You have seen a cloud sitting on a mountain until the sun's angle changed, and oh, miracle, the mountain was free without one shovel of human effort. Do you see that? At no point did you rush down the track to pry iron apart. At no point did you massage the stick. At no point did you hire a brigade to sweep the cloud from the granite. You corrected seeing by light. That is healing. A man brought me his daughter's picture once. Ah, I know. 2 Bibles, and now pictures. We are quite modern. The picture showed a swollen ankle, purple like a bruise on twilight. The house had expected weeks of crutches. They asked for prayer. I said, we won't attempt to heal an ankle. We will bear witness to God. I sat until the click, until the sense of I am was all that stood where I sat. When I opened my eyes, I had no message to send, no spell to cast, only a quiet God is. That evening they phoned, surprised and laughing. The girl had risen, put weight on the foot, and walked to the kitchen as if she had borrowed a new world. What happened? You haven't seen a healing at all. You witnessed the new creature, Christ, the isness of God appearing as that girl, while your fear image dissolves. The ankle was never substance. The picture was never law. The click did the works. Do you see that? Another case. A widow came, arms full of envelopes, dates circled in red, as if the color could command supply to salute. Friday, she said. Friday the notices escalate. We did not pray to make money. We did not petition a celestial banker. We rested in the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. We rested in thy is the kingdom, not mine to manage. When the click came, it was as simple as the breath in her chest without a mortgage attached. 2 days later, yes, the calendar still keeps its noises, an overlooked account settled, an apology arrived with a check from a place that had underpaid her husband's pension, and a neighbor, unprompted, brought groceries sufficient for a small army. You could say coincidence. I say consciousness beholding as and is. Not God and a widow, but God as the individual appearing where the name widow used to borrow sorrow. Not future tense present isness revealing the table already spread in the presence of mine enemies. Do you see that? I can hear the objection getting its hat. Yes, but what about hard things, war, wounds, defects, losses? You want an answer that comforts the reasoning mind. I will not drag us into argument. I will say only this. The kingdom is not achieved by polishing mortality. Behold, I make all things new. New, not patched. Old things are passed away. Behold, all things are become new. When the click is deep and the veil thins, you do not witness a repaired human. You witness disappearance. The old creature, with his ledger of hurts and his proof of matter's lordship, drops, and there stands the new creature, Christ. Now listen closely. You cannot timetable this revelation. Neither may you postpone it. Time means nothing. The only honest posture is persistence without bargaining. Sit until the click, consent to, is never give up. Never give up. Do you see that? Let me bring the lens closer, because I want you trained, not merely inspired. Suppose a lump presents itself. The hand finds it. The thought floods. The heart drums its bad poetry. In that instant, you are tempted to become a mechanic in a room full of tools, herbs, chants, fears, doctors, denials, all of which may have their place in human experience, but none of which is your Christ work. Your Christ work is to refuse and to live as, not God in a lump, God as the only substance where a lump tries to claim location. You do not speak to tissue, you do not glare at cells, you do not admire or despise reports. You let the spiritual fact God is occupy you so fully that the picture loses the power you had loaned it. We look not at the things which are seen, but at the things which are not seen. We are not ignoring, we are beholding. And as light undoes darkness without a wrestling match, so recognition undoes illusion without a struggle. Do you see that? Someone will call that passivity. It is the most radical activity known to man. It is the Father's business. If I could fix matter, I would rent a shop, print a sign, and carry a toolbox to every hospital. Repairs while you wait. Won't that be nice? Oh, I could go to the movies every night with the proceeds. But matter as matter cannot be fixed, because matter as matter is not the substance of God. Spirit reveals itself, and what appeared material is revealed as idea, form of spirit, not subject to the hammer and rust of human law. This is why sudden turnarounds do not break time. They expose appearance. The day dawns, and the stars are not snuffed out by an electrician. They are simply unseen because a greater light renders their night function obsolete. When you say, it happened so fast, what you mean is, the picture lost my consent. Recall the master at Bethesda. Wilt thou be made whole? The man rehearses his delays, no man to put me in. The water must be troubled, others step ahead. Time, method, competition. The master does not lean over to stir the pool. He says, rise, take up thy bed, and walk. He does not count to 3. He does not soften the order with a perhaps. He speaks from is, and the man rises. He does not convalesce there a week with religious visitors bringing sandwiches. He rises because wholeness was never absent. The bed that had certified his helplessness is now furniture. Do you see that? The old apparatus loses its story when isness stands up. So our discipline is simple and exacting. Refuse to fix pictures. Refuse to argue with shadows. Turn and turn again, and if necessary 1,000 times in 5 minutes, to the fact God is, as and is, not to, not later. Let the click be your only green light. If it comes as a breath, abide in it. If it tarries by your clock, throw away the clock. Time means nothing. Never give up. Never give up. The streetcar tracks will not meet, no matter how your eyes swear they do. The cloud will not drown the mountain, however certain the silhouette. The stick will not be broken by the water's suggestion. And you will not be a patched-up creature if you consent to the new Christ as your very eye. Neither do men put new wine into old bottles, the Master warns. Do you see the mercy? Do not try to pour revelation into repair. Let repair go. Let us be wine and you be its form. The kingdom of God is within you, within, not hidden behind the liver, not tucked under the rent payment, but within consciousness itself. That is where the illusion resides. That is where it dissolves. Not by a trick, not by a human brilliance, but by the quiet majesty of realized presence. God is, the Lord is, I am. Say it, not to chase results, but to consent to what is. Then watch without strain, without premature testimony, as the scene rearranges to agree with light. You haven't seen the healing at all. You have seen what is finally seen as is. Do you see that? Then keep your hands off the screen and let the sun do what sun does, dissolve the fog without a finger laid upon it. Now we make no speeches. Now we stop admiring sentences, and we do the one honest thing: we sit. We are not going to work truth. Truth does not need our employment. We are going to witness presence, and then presence, realized, will do its own witnessing as what you call results. Do you see that? So quietly, as you are, place your feet where the earth can find them. Place your hands open, not clenched, not asking open, as if you had nothing to guard and nothing to grasp. Soften the brow. Yes, that one little muscle tries to manage the universe. Let it go slack. No agenda to change anything. Not the body, not the bank book, not the world. Be still and know that I am God. Not be busy, not be spiritual. Be still. Do you see that? Now breathe as you would in a room without clocks. We will take the simple sequence, not as magic, not as leverage, but as a way for the mind to stand aside while the heart remembers. God is, the Lord is, I am. Let the words be slower than you are used to. Let them thin until they are more silence than syllable. God is, the Lord is, I am, Again, but without effort. If the tongue wants to move, let it stay on its cushion. Hear the words inwardly. God is, the Lord is, is. I am. Time means nothing here. 5 breaths or 50, no one is counting. We are not trying to change weather. We are remembering climate. Is, now we add the key we have been given, the tiny hinge on which the vast door swings. As whisper it without sound. God appearing as me. God is here as this. Let the mind try to object as this, with my history, with my mailbox, and do not argue. Answer only with is, God is, the Lord is, I am. Do you see the rest in that? We are not reaching ahead to secure a tomorrow. There is no future tense in truth. This minute is the only minute truth knows, so let this minute be the only minute in your practice. Not the next one, not the last one. This one is, if thoughts arise about the body, about the news, about someone you love, let them pass like birds on their way elsewhere. Do not feed them. If a thought insists, hand it the only food that does not fatten illusion. Is a picture of pain comes. Is a memory of failure. Is an excitement about a plan. Is you are not swatting flies, you are refusing to make a second power. Hear, O Israel, the Lord our God is one Lord, one. One power, one law, one cause. Is. Do you see how simple it is? The complication was never in spirit. It was in our rehearsal. Now listen within for the click. Do not manufacture it. Do not hunt it with a net. Sit until the click. What is it? I will tell you what it is not. It is not fireworks. It is not a trumpet. It is not usually an announcement with letters of marquee. It is more like a warm nearness, as if the air that you call around me forgot its distance and settled into you as quiet. It is a lightness, the sort that lets a quiet smile form without your permission. It is the sense, very matter of fact, that you are being breathed, that your heart is being hearted, that your life is not separate from its source. If it is nothing at all, you can describe good. Do you see that? Presence is not a showman, it is itself. When it is felt, you have that green pasture we spoke of, not later, now. So we practice. Hands open, brow soft, no agenda. The sequence like stepping stones across a creek. God is, the Lord is, I am, rest there. If the mind brings you a project after this, you must call, you must fix, you must plan, smile and answer, not now. Is, in quietness and in confidence shall be your strength. Not in logistics, quietness, confidence is. If a sensation arrives in the body and asks for your fear, do not pay. Answer with is. If a bill waves its paper in your imagination, do not sign the contract of worry. Answer with is. Take no thought for your life, the Master says. And we have thought he was joking. He was not. He was pointing to a law, as and is. God as you. God is does the thinking as what we call the right thought at the right moment, not before, not after, now. Do not look at your watch. We are not earning credits toward divinity. Sit until the click. Perhaps it comes in a minute. Perhaps it hides while you scare it with effort. Perhaps tonight there is only a softening around the edges, as if a severe judge took off his robe and went home. That is already the pasture. That is already the rod and the staff. Never give up. Never give up. If tonight you receive nothing that your mind can catalog, you have not failed. Time means nothing. 5 days, 5 years, 20 years. What is that to I am? Tarry ye until ye be endued with power from on high. Do you hear that word? Tarry. Wait. Not for a train. for the enduing, the clothing of consciousness with what is already true. We are not inviting God to a meeting. We are taking our seat at God's meeting and waiting for the chair to take the chair. Now, let me set a loving guardrail, because the temptation to get up and do is strong in us. Attempt nothing without the presence. And I mean that literally, not because God will punish your effort, but because without presence you will only labor under the old assumption, me and God, me and problem, me and time. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. No man can do these miracles that thou doest, except God be with him. Except God be with him. Don't try them. Don't try them. Do not rush from this chair to fix a body, to fix a bill, to fix a brother. Let the click do the works. When the click is present, the acts that follow are not attempts, they are witness. You will find yourself writing the check without fear or not writing it without fear, making the call without dread or not making it without avoidance. The difference is not in the act, it is in the actor, not a separate person performing, but God appearing as the doing. Return, please, to the sequence. We are not done. God is, the Lord is, I am. Let the intervals widen like a river opening into sea. God is, the Lord is, I am. If the room interrupts a cough, a clatter, the next door neighbor discovering his mower, bless it with is, the sound dissolves into one presence when you refuse to make two. Do you see that? You are training nothing. You are consenting to everything that is real already. Let us add the as again, but very quietly, as one would put oil on a hinge. God appearing as me. God is here as this. Say it once and then stop. Do not pet it. Do not stroke it. Let it stand and do its own speaking. Watch what happens in the body when you consent to as. Shoulders tend to step down from their guard posts. The breath lengthens without your permission. The mind loses its job title. If you feel foolish, good. The fool is the self-conscious beam trying to shine harder. Let it retire. It is the Father that dwelleth in me. He doeth the works. He, not you and he. He as you, as and is. Now, because we are students and not tourists, take 1 minute, only this minute, and say within, with the gentleness you would use to wake a child, be still. I know. I am. And then be still. If a fear pokes your shoulder, answer with is. If a hope wiggles its fingers, answer with is. If a scripture rises, let it speak as now, not as memory. Lo, I am with you always, not will be. I am. Let it settle you like a hand on the back of the heart. If nothing seems to happen, you have still honored the only condition truth sets, availability. Presence is not on call, it is all in all. Often, when you stop looking for the click, you find you have been sitting in it like a fish in water asking for a glass. Do you see that? Sometimes you will notice the click only after you rise and discover that the thing that used to pull at you can no longer find your collar. Sometimes it will be a sweetness while you sit that would allow you to forget your own name if someone called it not out of trance but out of sufficiency. Sometimes it will be dry as a field out of season, and you will be tempted to irrigate with effort. Don't wait. Never give up. Never give up. Time means nothing. When the click is felt or suspected, do nothing to prove it. Do nothing to parade it. Protect it the way a mother protects a sleeping child, by letting the house be quiet around it. When it is ripe, it will call you to move, and the movement will be so obvious you will laugh at the old days when you sought omens and flipped coins. The realized presence acts. You will witness and follow, never force. But that belongs to our next step. For now, this is enough. Sit until the click. And let me say with a smile, for those of you who are very good at being good, you cannot bribe God with posture. If your brow is soft and your hands are open and your spine is a tower and your halo is polished and still you are trying to make a better tomorrow, you are only decorating a prison. Lay down even your spirituality. Sit as empty glass. Let the substance name itself. The simplest practice is the deepest because it gives you no handles to hold on to. You cannot pretend to be the doer when all you have said is. We will close this period of practice by hearing the cadence one more time and letting it sink below the mind into being itself. Not to get something, not to fix something, to witness what already is. God is, the Lord is, I am, God appearing as me. God is here as this. Be still and know that I am God. And now we do nothing. We wait. We tarry. We honor the presence more than we honor the pressure. Except God be with them, don't try them. The click will announce itself, and when it does, let it have your feet, your hands, your voice, your day. Remember, we do not work truth. We witness presence. Then the click does the works. Do you see that? Then, with a very quiet heart, let us be still 1 minute more and consent to is. After the click, you stand up in the same room and not the same life. The furniture hasn't moved, and yet the axis has. The posture changes. Before, you were a seeker, alert for something to do, some lever to pull. After the click, you are a witness, beholding what is already true, letting the already be the authority in every minute. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Not run, not revise, stand and see. Do you see that? We exchange fixing appearances for beholding God as all in all here. Here is the operative word, not heaven later, not harmony tomorrow. Here. Now are we the sons of God, says the apostle. And if the scholar in you prefers the older phrasing, very well, but the point is now am I the son of God? Now am I about my Father's business? The grammar of eternity refuses the calendar. There is no future tense in truth. The realized presence acts. You witness and follow, never force. What is your business then, as the click holds? First, declarations of now, not as slogans, but as identity recognized. Now am I the Son of God. Now am I about my Father's business. Now is the kingdom. Now is the day of salvation. The mind will try to bargain after lunch when the report comes. Once I am certain, and you will smile and answer, is I and the Father is one. Yes, I know what the grammar police will think, but we are not in their jurisdiction. We speak from as and is, not God and you, God as you. Not God will be, God is. God is, the Lord is, I am. Do you feel the floor under those words? Do you see that? Now let us come where the pictures still try to hire you. Health, a sensation tightens, a report waves its paper, an old fear puts on a new doctor's coat. After the click, you do not move toward the sensation with repair tools. You let it drift into the radiance you are beholding, treat it as shadow. Do you see the post on a bright afternoon? You cannot paint the shadow into a different shape. Turn to the sun and the shadow arranges itself. It is the Father that dwelleth in me, he doeth the works. He, presence realized, acts as harmony. If in that light the simple next step appears rest, water, a call, an appointment, you take it without the anxiety that used to ride your back. The step is not a fix, it is a form. The cause is isness, and sometimes there is no step at all, only a dissolving the body, unclutching its borrowed news. Do you see that? Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Always remember as and is. supply. The figures frown. The bill stamps itself urgent in red, as if color had jurisdiction over spirit. After the click, you do not storm the ledger. You retire into the earth is the Lord's and the fullness thereof. You retire into thy is the kingdom, not mine to maintain separate from you. You abide until there is only one. Then watch the simple next step appear like a path you didn't draw. You may be moved to release the item you were hoarding, just in case, to forgive a debt you were nursing like a pet grievance, to call a forgotten contact without calculation, to sit still and let a letter find you. My sheep hear my voice, says the shepherd. In the click, you hear the voice not as thunder but as clarity, and when it speaks, it lights only the next foot of road. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, not a floodlight to the horizon. Good. You take the step lit. You do not invent the rest of the staircase. You see that? Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Always remember as and is. Decisions. Move or stay. Accept or decline. Speak or keep silence. The old seeker would weigh, defend, forecast, rehearse. Speeches in the shower until the shampoo became a witness against him. The witness abides. He refuses to be hustled by what if. He refuses to plan without presence. He sits until the click is either with him or not. If it is with him, the decision often shows up as the obvious thing, the sort of obviousness that makes you laugh at your old solemnity. If it is not with him, he waits. In quietness and in confidence shall be your strength, not in quickness, quietness, confidence. And when the act comes, there is no strain. It is not a coin toss. It is consent. Lo, I am with you always. And so the with you-ness does the choosing as you. Do you see that? This is the identity shift. The actor retires and the action remains. The separate self that used to take assignments from fear is not invited into this office. Behold, I make all things new. Not new plans for an old self, new Christ as identity. The seeker hunted results, the witness watches revelation. The seeker congratulated himself on a good outcome, the witness bows to presence, whether the form dances quickly or takes its quiet time, because the peace is not postponed to the outcome. The peace is the outcome. Peace I leave with you, my peace I give unto you, not as the world giveth with proof first, peace after, but as presence giveth peace first, proof as it pleases. Do you see that? Someone will ask, but if I stop trying, won't everything fall apart? It fell apart while you were trying. The trying was the falling. Trying assumes two. Effort assumes absence. Witness assumes oneness. Here is a little humor for the file. When fear sends you a memo labeled urgent, you may stamp it, not our department. Our department is, our only casework is consent. When you hear the inner urgency to scramble, return to the sequence that sets you straight. God is, the Lord is, I am. And then, if there is to be a phone call, the number will be obvious. If there is to be a letter, your hand will write before you can debate. If there is to be silence, you will find you have said nothing exceptionally well. It will not be passivity. It will be the Father's business doing, its own business without your management. Except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. How do you know you are in witness rather than in will? The feel, the yoke. My yoke is easy and my burden is light. It does not mean the calendar is empty. It means the inner shoulders are no longer hauling a world. Tasks remain, but you do not wear them as identity. You are not the fixer. You are the beholder. The days have the modesty of steps instead of the arrogance of projects. You find yourself exact in small things because presence loves precision. And you find yourself free of anxiety because presence loves freedom. When interruptions come, they are not an offense against your plan. They are the plan's form today. Do you see that? Let me seal this portion with the words that are permission and boundary all at once. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Always remember as and is. When you must move, it will be as obvious as breath. When you must wait, it will be as restful as pasture. The Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He restoreth my soul. Not will, is. Now am I the Son of God. Now am I about my Father's business. Now, time means nothing here. Evidence will come and go like weather, but climate has been established. Oneness. The realized presence acts. You witness and follow, never force. Do you see that? Then walk on softly, not as a seeker sniffing for signs, but as light walking in its own day. Never give up. Consent to is. Now come the clever little lawyers of the mind with their briefs marked urgent. Yes, yes, presence, but the bill is due Friday. Yes, yes, oneness, but the pain is here. Yes, yes, peace, but I need a plan. These are not three problems. They are one disguise. Tomorrow talk. The future hides behind calendar words and asks you to worship time. Do you see that? We answer not with debate, not with hustle, but with the grammar of eternity. There is no future tense in truth. Before Abraham was, I am. Not I will be on Friday. I am, the Lord is my shepherd, is. I am. Every objection evaporates when you refuse to move the scene into later. Bring it here, bring it now. Then abide until the click says what to do if there is to be a doing at all. Take the first. The bill is due Friday. Friday is a thought in your mind. It has no presence of its own. If you grant it power, it will dictate your blood pressure and borrow your sleep. Withdraw the worship. Sit. Take no thought for the morrow. Sufficient unto the day is the evil thereof. The Master didn't mock you with poetry. He named a law. Take no thought for Friday. Take your seat in I am. The earth is the Lord's, and the fullness thereof. Supply is not an event. Supply is identity. God appearing as you is the only wealth you can ever have because it cannot come or go. Do you see that? A woman wrote me once, fictional to you, factual to me, who stared at a red stamp notice as if Scarlet made a claim on spirit. She wanted to phone 12 people and sell 13 heirlooms before lunch. Instead, she sat, and she would tell you the sitting was not sweet. The mind balked prices and called her irresponsible. But she tarried. God is. The Lord is, I am. After the click, there was a quiet notice. Open the drawer. A client's forgotten check, mailed weeks ago, had hid itself in envelopes. Then a second light. Call the landlord and speak plainly without apology. She did, and he said, I don't know why I'm saying this, but wait a week. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, not a floodlight to the ear. The steps were present tense forms of an already present cause, not magic isness. Do you see that? But the pain is here. Do not argue with sensation. Do not negotiate with it. Sensation looks loud. Presence is quiet. Loud is not law. Be still and know that I am God. Not be still and wait for better weather. Be still and know. The knowing itself is the appearing of harmony. Sit until the click, not to remove pain, to recognize I am. If care appears as rest or as medicine or as a phone call, take it without superstition. A step is a form. It is not a second cause. But do not move until the click gives the step. Otherwise you feed the very image you hope to dismiss. I watched inwardly with you now a man who named his headache as if baptism gave it dominion. He would have iced and heated and Googled himself into despair. He sat resentfully at first. God is, the Lord is, I am. In thy light shall we see light. After 20 minutes or 20 eternities, the warmth arrived, not as fireworks, as nearness. He did not feel brave. He felt accompanied. Then a simple next. Darken the room and lie down. He did, and the pain receded as fog in a rising sun, not as an enemy defeated, as a picture without source dissolving before substance. Sometimes it recedes slowly, sometimes quickly. Time means nothing. Never give up. Never give up. Do you see that? The mistake is to make a second power out of a sensation and then try to wrestle it. Wrestle proves 2. Witness proves 1. I need a plan. We love that one because plans make us feel important. Plans let the mind buy graph paper and crayons. Or I can go to the movies every night with my calendar. It's a very entertaining theater. And yet, except the Lord build the house, they labor in vain that build it. First the click, then the step. Never reverse the order. Lead me in a plain path because of mine enemies. The plain path is plain when presence walks it as you, not 100 steps. 1. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, not a searchlight for your strategic plan. You see that? A man stood at a bridge, figurative and literal, a job in another city that looked golden in brochures and tin in prayer. He listed pros and cons until the paper wore thin and his mind wore thinner. Then he remembered, sit until the click. He sat days. He thought himself lazy. He accused himself of missing his window. He sat anyway. Never give up. Never give up. In the click, the race to decide ended. Peace stood up. Then a phone call, unplanned. A colleague mentioned a project here, not there, which matched the inner warmth more than the glossy salary had. He crossed the bridge he was on, not the one in the brochure. Later, the golden job closed itself to its applicants for reasons that would have haunted him. The plan was not plan. It was presence, as and is. Let us set a little test for the mind that loves to dash. For the next minute, this minute, the only minute on earth, handle only this breath. No forecasts, no postmortems. Do not rehearse a conversation. Do not replay yesterday's. Hear within and answer only with now. If a thought says, by Friday, answer is. If a thought says, when this is over, answer is. If a thought says, if only, answer is. Lo, I am with you always, not later. I am. Do you see how delay language dissolves when you refuse to speak it? Watch your speech. The tongue recruits time into your life by accident. Lay down the futures and the subjunctives. The Lord is my shepherd. Is. Now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. Not when you are holier. Now. You will object again. I know the species we are working with. But if I don't say Friday, I'll be irresponsible. If I don't feel the pain, I'll be in denial. If I don't plan, I'll be foolish. No. You are not asked to erase calendars or to ignore bodies or to burn planners. You are asked to remove their crown. They are not masters, they are servants. They will serve when presence rules. Friday will bring its own form when isness is realized today. The body will express what the realized presence is being as you. The plan will descend as a step when the step is the will of the one. It is the Father that dwelleth in me. He doeth the works. He, not you and he. He is you. I and the Father is one, will the scholars forgive us, because we speak not as grammar books, but as being. So when the mind shouts, hurry, hurry, you may whisper back, not our department. Our department is. When the mind whines, later, later, you may answer, there is no later in God. God is, the Lord is, I am. And if after you abide there is to be a call, you will find the number obvious. If there is to be a letter, your hand will write before opinion arrives. If there is to be a bridge to cross, your foot will discover it under itself as you walk. If there is to be stillness, you will sit and discover you are not postponing life, you are consenting to life. Never give up. Never give up. Time means nothing. The only thing that ever happens is God being God, is what you call this moment. Do you see that? Then let the objections come like waves, and let them meet the shore that does not move. Every one of them will spend itself at your feet when you refuse their clock and accept his name. I am that I am. Now we must make this ordinary, because holiness, when it is true, becomes the simplest routine of the day. Not a great event, but a quiet order. If the click is to be trusted in the storm, it must be practiced in the still morning when the house has not yet invented its emergencies. So, dawn. Before the calendar finds you, you find the presence. Sit as we have learned, hands open, brow soft, no project. Do not race to produce a feeling. Sit until the click or wait without complaint if nothing declares itself. Time means nothing. 5 minutes if that is all the house grants, an hour if the dawn stretches like a friend no one is counting. The point is not to start the day, the point is to let the day start in God. Whisper if whisper you must. God is, the Lord is, the Lord is, I am. Then bring the Christ grammar to your own name by way of John 8:58. Before Abraham was, I am. Not as a recital, as a present announcement. Hear it as if the Christ was speaking as you, because he is. Do you see that? Not will be, I am. At midday, when the machinery of human business has usually built its convincing case, pause. You may have 2 minutes between calls or 1 breath between errands. Take it. This is not a new meditation. It is remembrance, a check of your yoke. My yoke is easy, and my burden is light. Is it light? If not, you have consented to carry what is not yours. Lay it down in a breath. 1 breath can be a sanctuary if you give it back to his. Say softly, the Lord is my shepherd, I shall not want. Not as comfort for later, as boundary now. Let it cancel the story that your supply, your guidance, your safety are late. Rotate, if you like, between the 2 texts now. Before Abraham was, I am. Now the Lord is my shepherd. They are not readings. They are the law announcing itself. You will discover that one will be given for the day as a robe you wear without thinking. Do you see that? You are making isness habitual. Evening, we do not go to bed with the bookkeeping of guilt or pride. We do not tally victories and defeats as if they were 2 powers warring. We render unto God the day by gratitude in his. Not thank you for what happened, though that may flow, but thank you for what is. Thank you that the shepherd is. Thank you that I am. Thank you that as and is have held what my eyes could not always interpret. If there has been an appearance of delay or confusion, you do not drag it under the covers. You lay it on the altar with the words, Thy is the kingdom, and sleep in oneness. The sleep of the witness is not the sleep of escape, it is the rest of sufficiency. He maketh me to lie down in green pastures. He restoreth my soul. Do you see how safe that is? The edges of the day round off into pasture, not into plans. Now, about boundaries. Do not minister, decide, or promise without the click. Humility protects. You are not withholding good, you are refusing to counterfeit it. No man can do these miracles except God be with him. Except God be with him, don't try them. Don't promise your friend a healing because your heart is tender and your phone is clever. Sit, tarry. If, after tarrying, there is no click, love silently, bless quietly, and say with honesty, I will sit with you in is and do so. Truth needs no volunteers for a heroism contest. The shepherd does not hire anxious shepherds. And decisions, the world loves a snap answer. Spirit respects a still one. Do not be bullied into wisdom. Say, let me be still and be still. If you cannot be still on the call, be still right after and do not move until your feet are taken by presence. This is not indolence, it is obedience. Do you see that? Our speech, too, gets a boundary. Having felt the click, there may be a temptation to decorate it with words, to impress or persuade. Resist. Let your communication be yea, yea, nay, nay. Anything more is usually the old self adjusting its halo. Share only what presence authorizes, and it will usually be shorter than your enthusiasm wishes. When presence authorizes, it carries its own tone, easy, unforced, free of promise. If you hear yourself saying, I guarantee, stop. We do not guarantee outcomes. We witness isness. It is the Father that doeth the works. He as you, as and is. Do you see how this protects both you and your brother? No more spiritual salesmanship, only the quiet authority of now. Because the mind is forgetful and the heart profits by its own evidence, keep a simple record of witnesses, not to build a trophy case, but to train trust. Each time in the day, the burden lifts, perhaps only a knot in the shoulder smoothing, when the Lord is replaces a deadline. Perhaps a conversation that used to frighten you becoming unremarkable. Perhaps an old anger disinterested in itself. Note it. Date, hour, one line, burden lifted at is. When a larger matter appears, read backward and remember. Climate, not weather. The little entries tell the larger truth. Isness is faithful. This is not superstition. It is pedagogy for the old nervous system. You are teaching the mind to retire from its alarm. And should there be a day with no noticeable entries, write that down too, and beside it the words, be still and know. Never give up. Never give up. Now, community. Do not attempt to carry this in splendid isolation. Ego likes to become a solo mystic with a cape. Where two or three are gathered together in my name, there am I in the midst of them. Gather simply two or three in a living room or under a tree. No agenda except silence. Sit together until the click. Begin, if you wish, with a sequence scarcely audible. God is, the Lord is, I am, and then enter the pasture of no words. Share only what presence authorizes, and you will find it authorizes very little in speech and much in love. No counseling sessions unless the click commands, and then only as beholders, not mechanics. No diagnosing each other. No laying of opinion on altars. Let the shepherd shepherd his flock. If during such a gathering one feels moved to voice a scripture, let it be present tense and brief. Before Abraham was, I am, or the Lord is my shepherd, and then back to silence. Close without critique or spiritual weather reports. Go home quietly, carrying the fragrance, not the report. Do you see the safety? Community without meddling. Oneness without entanglement. Let us add one more guardrail with a smile. Do not advertise beyond your obedience. The moment you put healer on a card, life will mail you problems to prove it. Better to let the isness advertise itself as fruit, and even then keep the basket low. Take heed that ye do not your alms before men, to be seen of them. The presence is its own press agent. When action is required, it will be given, And when silence is required, keep it as you would keep a jewel. This rhythm, dawn sitting, midday remembrance, evening gratitude, scripture lived as mantra, boundaries on speech and ministry, a small record of witnesses, 2 or 3 gathered in quiet. This is not a program to improve the human. It is a way to let oneness become your habit and your hedge. There is no future tense in truth. We are not building toward a day when we will be safe. We are installing safety now by refusing to move without is. Persistence in what is simple makes the simple powerful. Do you see that? Then set your clock lightly, not as a taskmaster, but as a friend. Meet the dawn as pasture, touch noon as remembrance. Let dusk be the shepherd's robe around your shoulders. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Always remember as and is. And in that constancy, you will find that the realized presence acts, and you steady now, witness and follow, never force, never give up. Consent to is, beloved, let us seal this hour not with more talk, but with the simple fact that has been speaking all along. Before Abraham was, I am. Not I shall be when conditions improve. I am. The Lord is my shepherd. Not will be once I mend my ways. Is. Do you see that? There is no future tense in truth. Truth refuses appointment books. Truth is presence being itself now. And your only part is to stop postponing what cannot be postponed and to stop repairing what never broke in God. As and is. God is the individual. God is the only life here. I and the Father is one. Yes, the grammar teachers may protest, but oneness is singular. The heart knows this grammar, even if the red pencil does not. We are not composing an essay, we are consenting to being. So here is our benediction, a one-breath life that will outlast 1,000 resolutions. Inhale and let the word form without effort. God is. Exhale and let the answer appear as identity. I am. Again, softly, without strain, as if you were listening to the sea breathe through you. God is. I am. No bargaining, no asking. God is. I am. The Lord is. I am. Is. I am. Let that cadence wipe the chalkboard of your inner classroom until there is nothing left to memorize and only presence to be. You will notice the mind tries to decorate the prayer, to add errands and arguments. Smile at it and return. God is, I am. Return again. God is, I am. Sit in this until the quiet smiles arise by themselves, the little upward curve you did not order, the sign that the yoke has slipped from your shoulders because you remember there is only one shoulder and it isn't yours. Do you see that? Now take this one breath as your whole practice and your whole path. Not 10 breaths to get somewhere. One breath to be where being is. When you stand from this seat, carry nothing but the next step that presents itself in this light. Refuse to hire the future as your boss. Thy word is a lamp unto my feet, not a floodlight to the horizon. Feet, not future. If you must make a call, the number will be obvious. If there is to be silence, it will be more eloquent than your most persuasive paragraph. Stand still and see the salvation of the Lord. Stand until the click, then walk in the way the click is already prepared. Don't try to do something. Don't try to change something. Always remember, as and is. You are not leaving this room to seek God. You are leaving as the appearing of God. Sun and sunbeam do not set appointments to meet. They are the one light in 2 words. When disturbance knocks, and it will knock, because pictures keep their habits longer than presence keeps accounts answer from this breath. Be still and know that I am God. Know it not as opinion, as presence felt. If the picture is a bill, answer with being. God is, I am. If the picture is a pain, answer with being. God is I am. If the picture is a calendar trying to hire your fear, answer with being, God is I am. Then sit again until the click. If after that click there is a step, rest, speak, obey the simple leading. Take it as lightly as you would take a cup handed by a friend. It is form. The cause remains I am. If there is no step, do not invent one to ease the ego's itch. Lo, I am with you always, and always means now. My yoke is easy, my burden is light. The lightness is the test. You see that? Willful heaviness is a foreign language in this country. Let this seal also carry a quiet humor, for it is good medicine against solemnity. When you hear yourself saying, I and the Father are one, and then you hear me say, I and the Father is one, let the scholar in you clear his throat. Then let the saint in you laugh. Oneness is singular. Two nouns. One is, this is not carelessness, this is confession. There is not God and you trying to catch up to God. There is God as you being what? It is as the only life you will ever live. I am that I am. That name is the charter of your day, the signature under every act, the end of delay. Now is the accepted time. Behold, now is the day of salvation. Now, not in the next seminar, not when the report arrives, not after you are holier. Now. So go from here with a very small rule and a very great God. The rule, sit until the click, then move. If the click tarries, tarry with it. Time means nothing. 5 minutes, 5 months, what is that in eternity? Never give up. Never give up. The only thing that ever happens is God being God as what you call this moment, and this moment is infinite. Guard your tongue against tomorrow talk. Let your words be servants of His. Guard your heart from hurry. Let your pace obey the peace you just proved. Guard your hands from fixing. Let them become instruments of beholding and simple obedience. And if tonight you wake and the old thoughts queue up at the side of the bed, breathe the one prayer that has nothing to prove and everything to reveal. God is, I am. Wait for the little warmth to take your ribs like a shawl, then turn and sleep or rise and walk as directed by the one who sleeps not and walks as you. This is our benediction of is. Abide in is. Let every breath witness oneness, then walk from presence. Do you see that? Let the sentences of Scripture travel with you as living speech, not museum pieces. The Lord is my shepherd. I shall not want. Before Abraham was, I am. Be still and know that I am God. Lo, I am with you always. Not carved in stone, spoken now. And if no verse comes, the two words are enough. God is, I am. Is I am. Let them be your step, your meal, your rest, your answer. Sit until the click, then move. Never give up. Time means nothing. The benediction is not the end of a meeting. It is the beginning of you as witness, walking in your own day. Go softly, steadily, joyfully. The Lord is, I am.